Hello everybody and welcome to Lawrie's Mechanical Marvels. This week we're looking at a vehicle that under normal circumstances would be really quite unremarkable. But this one, well, I guess you just have to see it. This is a 1998 Subaru Legacy, and under normal conditions a vehicle like this would have no place on Lawrie's Mechanical Marvels. But look at it. This is genuinely worse than some of my own project vehicles. It's pretty rusty and just terrible. There is absolutely no way that this would pass a Ministry of Transport exam. But in North Carolina, this is a licensed and road legal vehicle. So immediate attention is drawn to the back of the car, where the rear of the arch has, well, disappeared and is now coming away. That's weight reduction right there. There's various bits of corrosion, so corrosion coming across here, little bits of trim missing. The door has this interesting air brake feature where this comes off, which allows more air to rush inside here, allowing the inside of the car to remain cool. The rot becomes more apparent when I open the door, and you see that the bottom here is missing, and also the panel that's come off kind of opens as well and slides up and down there. The door also doesn't keep itself open. Coming round to this side, we find the bumper over here is starting to fall off. In fact, it is remarkably loose. There's more corrosion, and the fuel filler flap doesn't shut. It's quite remarkably bad. Not that we are particularly interested, but here under the hood we have the 2.2 flat 4 Boxster engine, which generates some power, which is all lost when it goes into the 3-speed automatic transmission. And somewhere just down there, underneath the manifold, it's blown a hole in the exhaust. So it sounds rather rubbish. It sounds rubbish. It's also got a slow coolant leak. So the owner has asked if we can just have a look in there, and yep, it's still got coolant. So that's fine. I was expecting to see a lot more rust in here. I thought this was going to be a lot worse than it is. This is rather anticlimactic because the main structure of the car that I can see through the engine bay is, oh no, there's a bit there, but you'll never see it on camera. The bumper is very loose. To be fair, it's actually not a bad engine bay. There's very little wrong in here. It's just dirty, but it works. There's a couple of things in there held together with a rag. All in all, this is a very unexciting and rather disappointing engine bay. I was hoping to be able to see the road through many bits of it. It's possibly the best bit of the entire car is in there. And of course we have under the dust Subaru written there, although I don't really know if they want to lay claim to this vehicle in its current condition. So I'm sure you're all wondering why actually bother to have a look at this car. Even in brand new pristine condition, it's not really noteworthy. I mean, it had all-wheel drive, but it was never anything special. And this one might be a little bit special because of the fact it's starting to fall apart. But this is just to really serve as an example of how very different the laws are between putting a vehicle on the road between the USA, or at least North Carolina, and the UK. Hello, cat. This would never have passed an inspection in the UK. The body rust is it's a bit too much. So other things to note about this. The trunk doesn't open, the door locks are intermittent, and if you open the door on any kind of gradient, the door strap doesn't hurt it, so it slams back and smashes you in the legs, which hurts a lot. So the other thing to do now is really have a look inside it and brave the interior. On the inside, the car shows the signs of a hard and fairly unloved life. The windscreen washers, they don't work. The control here, which changes where the hot air goes and the cool air goes also doesn't work. The radio doesn't work, but the tape player kind of works. All the mirrors, they work, so that's good. The adjustable thing here for the wing mirrors, that also doesn't work. And you're starting to see the signs of a hard life with the cover of the door card starting to tear. The brakes can be heard to be rubbing unless the handbrake is applied slightly, in which case they're not, but the brake light is on the dash, and it also has an ABS light on constantly. I suppose it's relatively comfortable once you get in. It could have been, it's never going to be like a high-end product, but it could have been quite nice once, and it's not bad. If you gave it a good clean and a polish, the inside would be, relatively nice. It's just a bit boring and a bit unexciting. So I suppose it's time to see what this rot box drives like. Joy. Whoops. Horn works. So, we're actually inside the Legacy and going for a drive. There is absolutely nothing remarkable about this car at all. Absolutely nothing. The hole in the exhaust, or the lack of exhaust, or the blown exhaust, means that it's quite loud. It's not particularly fruity or enjoyable, it's just loud. And the automatic gearbox is frankly rubbish. Rubbish. Garbage is the term for the Americans, I believe. It's not very efficient on fuel. It has about as much oomph in it as the 106, which is to say, not much at all. And it's made worse by the fact the steering wheel is on the wrong side of the car. Apart from that, I mean, the car obviously shows signs of being used. It's dirty in here, headlining has some stuff on it, possibly mould growing on the handrail. But, for the intent of driving a car around, it's fine. It's a functioning car. And the drive isn't really the important part of this. The important part is the condition of the outside and the fact that Americans are fine with this being a vehicle you drive around in. It also kind of makes me think about America's dependency on automatic transmissions. I hate autos. I really, really do. And this one is just not a good auto. You put your foot down, and there's a real lump as the car changes gear. It's not a smooth transition at all. Taking this car now up to speed to join the interstate, it's very loud. Once we hit cruising speed, it's acceptable. The acceleration is loud, and it's not a pleasant exhaust noise, it's just noise. If this was a tasty exhaust, I might be a bit more for it, but it's just not. It's not a car I'd have, guys. It's one of the first vehicles I've looked at that really I wouldn't have. If somebody offered it to me, I'd be like, thank you, and flog it the same day. There are many other cars which will do exactly the same job as this, but they'll do it better. Or they do it with more style, or there'll be a better driving experience. This is just got nothing. That said, for the money that the owner paid for it, which was like $600, you can't really complain. He keeps going, he gets him from A to B, and he does what he wants.
mean, really, what else can you ask for in a car? If it does what you want it to do, it starts and it drives. It isn't a fun car, it's a daily car. And that's what he uses for, is a daily. An unloved daily. And it certainly does feel unloved. But also, I mean, do people love these? I know there's a lot of following for Subarus in the UK. But they're kind of the Impreza and, you know, the traditional Subaru. Does anybody actually anyone love these cars? Does this speak to anybody? Don't know. Certainly can't see it appealing to me. It's not unpleasant to drive, but it's not pleasant. It's not a car that I want to get back into. All the cars I have back home, they're cars I want to get into and drive. Even the 106, I love driving the 106. Pretty much everything else that I've reviewed out here are vehicles that I'm interested in, and I wanted to get in, and I wanted to drive them. I wanted to experience them. This thing, well, if it wasn't for the rust everywhere and the shockingly poor condition, it wouldn't have even made it onto the channel to start off with. It's just not my car at all. That said, I am very grateful to the owner for letting me borrow it while I'm out here, because in order to live in America and go around and do any reviews or anything, you've got to have a car. It's the only way to get around in America is you must have a car. So, car it is. I'll figure something else for next time. There's plenty of cars out here that, if I was staying out here, I'd like to have another go in, and I'd like to drive for longer and for more. But this isn't one of them. This is what I think's wrong with cars today. There's no passion in it. There's no sensation of driving. There's no pleasure in driving. This is just a tool to go from A to B. And that's it. There isn't anything else to say on this.
So that's it for this episode of Lawrie's Mechanical Marvels. And frankly, I'm sorry for wasting all of your time. This thing was boring and basically absolute garbage. So hopefully next week we'll have something a bit more exciting for all you guys to have a look at, and business will continue as normal. And next time we review something, I promise it will be something a bit more exciting. In the meantime, if you're enjoying my American adventure, click somewhere up there for a better review. And if you want something English, click somewhere over there for something that's, well, English. Ta-ra. And you are staying there. Not even driving that anymore. Dear oh dear.